Welcome back to another Sensei series. Today we're looking at 8 non-musical things that every guitarist should know. These are little tidbits that I've picked up over the years that I hope you find useful as well. As always, if you want to jump around to individual points, you can find links down there in the description. Number 1, how to wrap a cable properly. I don't care what instrument you play, at some point you're going to need to wrap a cable, and if you can do it the right way, it's going to save you some serious grief. You want to use the over-under technique. One hand holds the cable, the other hand goes over top, making a loop. You repeat that, but instead of going over top this time and grabbing, you go underneath, creating another loop. You repeat this, following the natural coil of the cable until you've got it all nicely wrapped up. And if you've done it right, you'll have a beautifully coiled cable. By doing this, it's going to unwind nice and flat without any loops. However, sometimes you might pull the cable through the wrong end, creating a series of knots. If this happens, it's not a big deal. All you need to do, take the first knot, stick your hand through it, follow the cable to the second knot, stick your hand through that one, all the way till you've reached the end of the cable, pull that through, and it's going to unwrap perfectly. By wrapping your cables properly, every sound man and engineer you work with is going to love you forever. Number 2, wear earplugs for sound check. Ideally, you'll always wear earplugs because hearing loss can be pretty tragic for a musician. Having said that, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I often take my earplugs in and out. I find they don't cut things perfectly evenly, which can distort my perception of the guitar's volume. If you're like me and you just can't wear earplugs for an entire gig, I would recommend that at the very least you wear them for sound check. High-pitched feedback and other various horrible sounds are most likely to occur when people are setting up. The first thing I do when I get to a gig, say hi to everyone and stick my earplugs in. Point number 3, it's beneficial to have a good relationship with your local music store. I've worked in a guitar store and I've shopped a lot in guitar stores, so I have a bit of experience on both sides. You're going to need to do business here, and it's going to be much better if you get along well with the employees. The customers that treated me well were the ones that I would really try to go the extra mile for, and I'd also remember the bad encounters that I had. Also, in my experience, you're probably not going to be able to haggle over the price much. There's a slim profit margin for most gear, so if you're buying a guitar, instead of asking for a discount, you might be better off asking for some perks, maybe some free strings, a strap, something like that. Of course, remember, you want to be on good terms with these people, so be respectful and don't be too pushy. Point number 4, always pack a gig kit. It's a pretty simple concept. When you have a show, bring a container with things that can help you out of any gear-related predicament. So for me, I'll bring extra picks, an extra capo, a couple spare cables, a number of individual strings, a backup strap, an extension cord, some wrenches, a power bar, and a multi-tool. Maybe there's some other stuff you want to put in your kit, anything that makes it so that if there is a gear malfunction, you can deal with it. Number 5, beware of organizations that make you pay for memberships. There are a number of for-profit musical organizations that charge a fee to join. In return, they'll offer various tools and services. Now, I'm by no means saying you should avoid these groups entirely, but be aware of what they're offering and if it truly is of value to you. Like any business, they need to make money, and their clientele is often unestablished musicians. There's no organization that's going to launch you into stardom. What they do is offer you resources that allow you to get your foot in the door. You need to actively make an effort to use them for them to be of value to you. So before you dive in, do your research and make sure it's worth the dollar amount. Number 6, the loudest people are often the least established. I've been to a number of conferences and summits around the globe, and you always run into a certain type of people. They're constantly name-dropping, bragging about one thing or another, and want nothing more than to impress you. In my experience, the people who are the real deal are secure enough that they don't have to tell everyone. Of course, now and then, accomplishments do come up naturally in conversation, and that's all good. But if the first thing a singer does is tell you that they recently wrote a song in LA with a guy who wrote all the music for the Korean X Factor, and her manager thinks it's going to do really well on African radio, well, chances are they're living in a dream world. Try to avoid these people and don't be that person either. Number 7, invest your musical energy wisely. There are only so many hours in a day, and I personally have a limit with how much creativity I have to spend. The longer you're involved in music, the more opportunities are going to come up. And despite what some might say, saying yes to everything is going to leave you exhausted, burnt out, and will detract from other opportunities. Let's look at an example. Say 2 bands come to me and want me to be their guitar player. One is a local cover band that gigs regularly, the other is merely a strong original concept. Let's say I can't say yes to both of them, or else I'd end up giving a half-assed effort. While the cover band is going to put money in my pocket instantly, there's very little room for growth there. If I believe in the concept of the other band and I don't need cash immediately, that's where I'd invest my time. So weigh all your opportunities carefully and decide where you want to invest your time and musical effort. Number 8, last and final point. Without balance in your life, your music will suffer. This is so important. Life is all about balance. If your entire day consists of music only, you're gonna run out of steam fast. I've seen it happen a number of times, especially in college. I personally love playing and watching sports, indulging in video games, and exercising. When I do sit down to work on music, I feel inspired and my time is productive. Being a musician is the coolest thing in the world. Don't let it become a chore. Alright, I hope you found that useful. At the end of these Sensei series, I always ask you guys to leave me a comment. I want to do something a little bit different today. I receive a ton of great requests for topics, and I can't possibly get around to doing a video for every single one. If you've got a burning question relating to guitar, music, or anything of the like, let me know down there in the comment section. In a future Sensei series coming soon, I'm going to try to get to as many of you as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, stay tuned, and if you really like this content, I've got a link over there. You can click on it and support my channel through Patreon. I've got things like private Sensei sessions, tabs, MP3s, and various other life-altering incentives available. And by supporting this channel, you make these videos possible. Thank you all again. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I will see you again soon.